For decades, it was just a rumor, a story passed between retired sailors and bored radio operators. Somewhere in the South Pacific, they said, there was an island that couldn't be seen on any map. No satellite ever captured an image of it. Planes flying overhead saw nothing but empty ocean. But every few weeks, like clockwork, a faint radio signal would burst through static. Just one message in perfect Morse code. We are still here. At first, no one paid much attention. Some called it a prank. Others thought it was an old transmission caught in a loop. But in 2009, things changed. A young amateur radio operator named Luke Hammond picked up the signal from his home in New Zealand. Curious, he traced the origin. The source, surprisingly, was somewhere in the Pacific, a part of the ocean known as Dead Blue, where no land, ship, or station was officially recorded. Still, Luke was hooked. He posted his findings online, and soon a group of independent researchers, hackers, and ex-military folks joined him to investigate. They called themselves the Echo Hunters. Using declassified naval data and old maritime maps from the 1800s, the group found something strange. An island named Kaida had appeared in logs from a Japanese expedition in 1891, but was later erased from all maps after World War II. There was no explanation, just black ink blotting out in archive files. Even stranger, every satellite image of the coordinates showed only waves, except for one grainy thermal scan from 1998. It showed a heat signature. Something warm was definitely there. Determined to find the truth, Luke joined a private expedition and set sail with 2 scientists and a former intelligence officer named Marta Voss. After a week at sea, their GPS went haywire as they neared the coordinates. Compasses spun and the sky became unnaturally quiet. Then, out of the fog, it appeared. A jagged island covered in black rock and thick vines. It shouldn't have been there, but it was. When they stepped onto shore, everything went silent. No birds, no insects, just the hum of something. Beneath, they followed the signal, still repeating every 12 minutes, until they found an old metal tower, rusted but standing. At its base were strange carvings, not in any known language. The structure didn't match any Earth technology they knew. It looked like a mix between a radio mast and a lightning rod, except it pulsed with a soft blue glow. They set up camp and tried to document everything, but their equipment failed. Batteries drained instantly. Cameras stopped recording. Only analog tools worked, and even those were unreliable. That night, Luke woke to find Marta missing. Her tracks led to a cave near the center of the island. Inside, they discovered a tunnel, clearly artificial, with smooth metal walls humming with quiet energy. What they found at the end of that tunnel changed everything. There were chambers filled with tall glass tanks, each holding something inside. Not quite human, not quite alien. The bodies were pale, thin, with elongated limbs and heads too large for their necks. But they weren't floating. They were standing, eyes closed, as if asleep. On the walls were control panels, some still glowing. One screen flickered to life, displaying a message in English. Observe. Learn. Do not interfere. Luke realized the signal wasn't a call for help. It was a warning. But before they could leave, the cave began to shake. Lights blinked red. Something had awakened. They ran, barely making it back to their boat. The island began to collapse behind them, not from natural causes, but as if something deep underground had powered down. When they returned to New Zealand, the media wasn't interested. Authorities claimed the island never existed. Marta, silent and shaken, disappeared into hiding. The other scientist, Dr. Reyes, died weeks later in a mysterious fire. Luke tried to release the photos and audio he'd gathered, but every file was corrupted. His backup hard drives were wiped overnight. When he checked his email, it was full of strange blank messages, all from untraceable accounts. Then one day, a black van followed him for 12 straight hours. That night, someone broke into his home and left a single sheet of paper on his kitchen table. No note, no signature, just coordinates, slightly different from the original ones, and one chilling line. Some islands were never meant to be found twice. Now Luke lives off the grid. He only contacts his Echo Hunters group using old analog radio. Every month, They still hear the same signal, still broadcasting from somewhere in the ocean. We are still here. Except now, sometimes there's a second line, but not for much longer. Governments deny everything. Satellite feeds are delayed or edited in real time. The public never sees what's really out there. But Luke is convinced the truth is simple. There are places on this planet that belong to someone or something else. Not from space, not from the future, but from before us. And they're watching, still watching.